Hey, what's up guys? Sam here, and I'll be doing the free video for Friday, October 13th, 2023. So another week is in the books, getting a little bit exciting, a little bit more volatility being introduced into the markets, which is always good for us as traders, as long as you're positioned to take advantage of it. And we also find ourselves kind of back in a box. So last week we called the video Bear Trap City. And to start this week, we got that move there. And of course, to end the week, we got a little bit of a pullback. But it did have a big move. It did have a little bit of a short squeeze, despite all of the geopolitical events going on around the world. So this video is not as clean as last week's, though. And we find ourselves a little bit back in a box. And I'm going to show you a pattern here that one of the traders here at Simpler uses reliably. And it is actually in play here on the SPY. So we're going to spend the bulk of this video, it won't be a long one, but it will spend the bulk of this video on SPY. And then I'm going to show you the VIX, and we're just going to call it there. Because I think if you understand what the SPY is doing and you know your SPY levels, then you can pretty much trade anything, right? So let's dive in. So on the weekly chart here on SPY, we still do have active sell signals. We've had these sell signals since August. And they have not yet reversed. On the daily chart, we have some buy signals that could easily become sell signals by Monday of next week, but at least for now they are buy signals. So you're getting a little bit of a kind of a mismatch here, where it's red here, green here, red here. So red, it's like kind of like a sandwich of red. The weekly and the hourly charts are red, and the middle chart here, the meat, the daily chart is green. So whenever you have that, you end up usually with volatile chop until everything settles up and everything aligns. It'll be easier for this to go red than it will be for it to go green, given the fact that the weekly is in a sell mode. But the pattern I want to show you here on the SPY is one that was coined here by one of our traders, TG, and calls it the 50-250. So this is going to be the focus of the video. And the 50 is the blue line here. This is on the hourly chart. And the 200 is the red line, right? So basically the theory goes that when you break a 50 and the 200 is on top, you break the blue line, you go to the red line, you go test the 200, and because the 200 is falling, typically it will fail on the first test of the 200, and you pull back to the 50. So 50, 200, 50. And then from there becomes an if this then that, right? Because we've isolated, we found our resistance level, right? It's going to be those previous highs to the 200, and we found our support level. It's going to be the blue line down to 430. And we have our resistance, and we have our support, and that becomes our trading range, right? So inside of the trading range, I think you want to play the edges, right? This is why we're back in a box, essentially. We're actually inside of a lot of boxes, right? If you look at it from a daily chart, you have this giant box here that you're back inside of this range. And then, of course, if you look at it from the hourly chart, you kind of have this hamburger structure of resistance on top, support at the bottom, price closer to support, but near the bottom of the range. So it becomes an if this then that, right? I think if you take out either one of these levels here, whether you take out the swing high, I think you can get a very nice short squeeze. However, be aware that if you take out 430 here on SPY, if you look under price, do you see how there's no moving averages and there's really no support until you get down here to this this zone here? So you see how from 430 down to about 421, 420, there really isn't any support, right? So this is a very high stakes game. Going into the weekend, of course, tons of geopolitical risk out there, so we'll see how this thing opens up on Sunday. But that's basically what it comes down to, is just understanding that trading range that I just pointed out and then having a plan for it, right? I think if it breaks 430, I think you definitely want to be short. I think if it breaks above the top of the range, breaks above the 200, you definitely want to be long for the short squeeze. Inside of the box, I think day trading is the only thing that works. Why is that? Because you're in a big box that's very volatile. So when you're making moves like this inside of a box, you typically want to try to day trade them so you can catch the swings. If you're trying to swing trade that, you can imagine it's going to be pretty aggravating, to say the least. So to close the video here, just know your levels going into next week. It's going to be the top of the range. Let's call it 436 to about 437. Bottom of the range 430 to about 431. And they're starting next week on a back foot, right? You can see the sell signal there. You can see there's no trend. You can see the squeeze is firing short. So be ready for some big moves next week. I don't think next week will be dull. This is a pattern that will usually lead to a very big move up or down, and the key thing is to, one, stay nimble. Don't overcommit to swing trades until you get a break, and then two, know your levels, know what you're looking for, and know what you're going to do if price gets above or below your levels. Alright guys, that's my time. Have a great weekend. Drop us a like before you go somewhere else on the YouTube. Drop us a comment if you have any questions. Let us know what you're having for dinner. I'm thinking pizza and burger sounds pretty good tonight, so that's probably what I'll have. And I'll be back with you guys for the next video. Cheers. Hey traders, this is Sam with Simpler Trading. I want to thank you for watching today's video. Hopefully you found the information in it helpful. If you did, leave us a like, leave us a comment. It really does help us out with the algorithm. And if you want to see us trade live with our own real money and be part of the community, come and check us out at simplertrading.com.